She booked a 3.5 stars hotel, and there was no beach. I was going to the beach. That she knows that that's my dream. That's my whole thing is the beach.
Right.
It was no beach. It was a lake with seaweed all over. I mean, you couldn't swim like from here to there.
This is the plaintiff, Carmen Turner. She says she and the defendant were friends for 10 years, and they decided to take a trip to the Dominican Republic last July. In good faith, she laid out the money for the trip with the agreement the defendant would pay her back. Unfortunately, the defendant's a hothead. They got into a fight while they were there, and now she refuses to pay her portion of the trip. So she's suing for the $908 she's owed. This is the defendant, Maria Marquez. She says she was going to book her portion of the trip, but the plaintiff insisted on doing it by herself. She told her she would take care of everything, which meant she was going to be paying for the trip. Besides, the hotel was horrible. There was no beach, no air conditioning, and she would never stay in a rat trap like that if she had to pay for it. She's accused of letting a friend down.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Carmen Turner, you are suing Maria Marquez for $908, the balance that you say she owes you for a trip that the two of you took together and she refuses to pay. How do you two know each other?
We are a friendship for 10 years.
Okay, and had you traveled together before?
No.
Okay, so you decide you're going to take this trip, and where were you going?
I made reservations to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
To Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, okay. And did you, when you made the reservations, did she pick the place with you, or did you pick the place?
We talk about the trip. And
That wasn't my question. Did you pick the hotel together?
Well, I picked out the hotel and she was agree.
Okay, so she was already going on the trip by the time you picked the hotel?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
and according to you, the agreement is that you're going to split the cost of the trip?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens? You go on the trip, and the trip is scheduled, what day was the trip?
The trip was scheduled July 11 and July 11 to July 17.
Okay, and so the two of you, had you ever been to Punta Cana?
I have been in Punta Cana
Had
before.
you ever been to Punta Cana?
No.
Okay, so what happens?
So when we were over there, we took the trip together, but before we took the trip together, in June 21st, she sent me a text message that her money is available immediately, and I
May
have
I see
proof.
that text message?
Yes.
Okay, while you're looking for that, did you agree to go on a trip with her?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Except for that, according to her, you didn't pay for your half. Why not?
Because that's not the way it was. I was to do the reservations. I went to 3 different places. I went to the travel agency to schedule the reservation. I did it on the phone, calling numbers, and I went through a friend. And after all this, that I was doing all this, and I was trying to get a 4 to 5 star hotel. I wanted like the best. And then she says to leave it up to her, that she was going to take care of everything, and that she was...
And what did you say when she said that?
That's okay. She was going to pay for everything, and she was going to take care of everything. That's okay with me. I mean, she
Wait,
did...
I don't understand. You're supposed to be paying for half the trip until she decides she's picking the hotel, not you. Now you don't pay for any of the trip?
We never agreed into that. She said she was going to take care of everything, so...
Okay, wait. So are you saying that you were never supposed to pay anything?
I never talked to her about paying
No,
for
that's
anything.
not my question. Because I don't know about you, but before I go on a trip, I know what it's going to cost me.
Okay.
So What did you think this was going to cost you?
I wanted to book what I liked to, what I wanted to go, the place where I wanted to go.
Right, but when she says leave it up to me and you do, what happened? You get there and you don't have a good time.
No, I did not.
Why didn't you have a good time?
She booked a 3.5 stars hotel, and there was no beach. I was going to the beach. That she knows that that's my dream. That's my whole thing is the beach.
Right.
It was no beach. It was a lake with seaweed all over. I mean, you couldn't swim like from here to there because it was
How
so
far
much
was the beach?
seaweed. We used to have a car that take us over there, and it was like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe more.
All right.
And
Did you look at the hotel before you boarded the plane?
I never did.
How come?
Welcome back to the People's Court, Harvey, 11 to yourself. You have a good friend and you're going to go on a trip together. Would you ever advance the money and pay for the whole thing and say to them, yeah, you just pay me back when you can?
I would.
Would you?
Yes.
Because you're so trusting?
I am trusting and they're your friend.
It also could ruin the friendship if they don't pay you.
It could. It very well
Too
could.
risky, right?
I wouldn't do it, but I'll definitely go on a trip with her now.
Yeah, no. That's smart woman. What do you say?
I would. It's annoying to split bills, so I'd rather just.
So if they don't pay, would you end the friendship?
Hopefully, we could work it out before.
If they don't pay, would you end the friendship?
Possibly.
If you don't pay, yes or no, would you end the friendship?
Yes.
There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
Where you're staying is so important to you. Why didn't you just look at? According to
Why
you
did
guys,
she was gonna
you
take
guys
it?
ended up in a fight on the trip, right?
Well, I didn't have a fight with her.
Did she have a fight with you?
She had a fight with me.
Okay. And what did she have a fight with you about?
Okay. This trip was also very.
What did she have a fight with you about?
Okay, when we were at the beach, I was agreed to, we talk about to go back to the hotel. And I told her I'm going to the pool. But she decided that she wants to go back to her room because she wants to get ready to have dinner. But I told her, I'm not ready to have dinner yet. So I went my way to the pool. And then when I came back to the room, she was yelling at me and treating me like a child. And I was
Saying what?
She was telling me that she was looking for me at the pool, that she couldn't find me. And I told her I was there all the time at the pool. What happened is the hotel has 2 pools.
Okay. So how many days were you guys there after that?
It was a 6th night,
The fight was what day?
the day of my birthday.
And that was what day? Day 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6? Which day?
I'm sorry?
What day was the fight? At the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the trip?
I think, or maybe probably at the middle, I'm not sure.
And then, so did you guys not talk to each other for the rest of the trip, or did you make peace?
I tried to make peace, but unfortunately, she had an attitude.
To that point,
bad
when was
attitude.
it that she was supposed to pay you?
I'm sorry?
Because I'd get my money. If somebody's supposed to pay me for a trip, I'd
Exactly.
probably like to. If somebody was supposed to pay me, don't say exactly, because what I'm going to say is exactly the opposite of what you did. So
I'm sorry.
If I'm going on a trip with somebody and they're supposed to pay me, I want them to pay me before their foot gets in Punta Cana. So when was she supposed to pay you?
Okay, what happened was,
She says the trip's on you, but I don't know if I buy that. I think you just
No.
didn't like the hotel, got mad at her, and decided you wouldn't pay her.
exactly.
That's what I think happened. Okay? Because I'm looking at a text where you say my money's at your disposal. What was that about?
I haven't seen that test. I
Oh,
would like
let's
to look.
show it to you. Let's show it to you. Here, turn that phone back on. Oh, here, no, wait, I've got a copy of it. You're giving her your date of birth, your address, and telling her, de dinero mío está a la orden inmediatamente. The money is at your service immediately.
Okay.
So what did that mean when you sent that?
It means what it means.
What does it mean? Why don't you tell me? Because I'm having trouble understanding what it means when you're looking me in the eye under oath and telling me that you were never supposed to pay anything.
I didn't say exactly that, but when she went over there, she was doing, to begin with, she had found a whole bunch of friends that she was with them and hanging out and going to all the places that she was there. That
And
they was
leaving you
going.
behind?
She left me by myself at all the time. She left me, I was by myself at all the time. And she was on the going with a whole bunch of friends or the whole bunch of people.
But see, how does that
She
entitle?
only
You know what that
people-
entitles you to do? That entitles you to pay her the trip that you're supposed to pay her the money you're supposed to, and never talk to her again, and say, you know what, this was so unpleasant. It was supposed to be fun, and 6 days in Punta Cana is better than 6 days not in Punta Cana. But you know, it doesn't matter. It was
Very
unpleasant. It wasn't how you wanted. It wasn't whatever. So fine, then you don't no longer go on trips with her, and you're no longer her friend. But how does that entitle you to make a judge waste this kind of time to order you to do what you know you were supposed to do, which is pay her the half of the trip?
I was planning the trip, my son. I wanted a
I
good
don't care
trip.
if your trip went bad. I care if you owe money under a verbal contract. You understand? Like, it's too bad your trip went bad. That doesn't mean that you stiff somebody with a $1,000 bill. Verdict for the plaintiff, $908, which includes some money that deducted from that was some money that she owed you. Okay, that's my judgment. $908 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Well, no question in the judge's mind about this case. The defendant, Ms. Marquez, definitely owes the money. Ms. Marquez, if you'd step over here, obviously I don't think you agree with the judge, but what do you think about what the judge
I didn't agree.
said?
It's not the trip that I wanted to do.
Yeah, but you agreed to pay the money. You understand?
I had agreed when I was going to schedule the trip, but she scheduled the trip.
Well, you
I
were on
mean,
the hook for
and
it.
she picked, like the lousiest 3.5 stars, no beach.
You explained
nothing.
that. You explained that, but you had agreed to pay for your share up front. Don't you understand
It was
it yet?
scheduled what I wanted to schedule.
Well, you know, you made a big mistake, so I'm sorry. Next time you schedule your own hotels.
I will.
You will.
I will.
But you owe her this time, okay?
I heard. Thank
Okay,
you.
sorry about that. That's the way it is. Here comes Ms. Turner now, the plaintiff. Ms. Turner, it's a shame you had to bring this to court. It seemed like a pretty simple case as far as the judge was concerned, right?
Thank you. Yes, and thank God first, and thank God the judge made, the decision.
What about the friendship between you two? What's going to happen with that, or is it no more?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well, congratulations, you're going to get your money.
Thank you.
Next
Thank you
time,
so much.
you'll learn too, right?
Yes.
Very good.
And 2 knives, that's why.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Harvey, a lesson learned here, right?
Okay, look, if you loan a friend money or you advance money like this, the first thing you do is you put what you did in an email to them. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Rhonda Marin. She says she was walking her very chatty dog around her neighborhood, and the defendant's 90-pound dog attacked her poor defenseless 9-pound Yorkie Bella for no reason. Bella was on a leash, the plaintiff's dog was not, and something has to be done about this menace in the neighborhood. When she presented the defendant with a $2,394.20 vet bill, the rude woman told her to shove it where the sun don't shine. Some nerve. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Galena Blatcher. She says the plaintiff was walking her dog on her property, and her dog ran to the front of her yard and stared the plaintiff's dog down. The plaintiff's dog wasn't on a leash. There was no blood or anything, and the cops agreed there seemed to be no scuffle between the two dogs. Oh, were all his money? Hogwash. She's accused of a doggy disaster.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's 90-pound dog attacked her 9-pound Yorkie, Bella, and won't pay the vet bills. But the defendant says the Yorkie was on her property and the pooch stared her dog down. It's the case of no Bella.
Thank you, Douglas. Rhonda Marin, you are suing Galena Blatcher. Yes, Blatcher, for $2,394.20 that you are out as a result of a dog bite when, according to you, her dog got loose and came out to bite your dog.
Correct.
Tell me what happened.
So it was a Friday night, Memorial Day weekend. I was walking my dog like I normally do. We live in a community. As we were coming down her block, past her house. My dog barks. Little dogs bark. All dogs bark to other
It's a
dogs.
yappy dog.
Okay,
Is
so
that a
she's
cat that
barking
barks?
around.
That's what my husband wouldn't let me get a small dog because he's worried that they'll yap.
They
Is your dog
yap.
a yapper?
Well, yes, outside, yes, even at cars. So she's a yapper, and she was just barking. And the next thing I know, Galina's dog came barreling out from the backyard.
There's no fence?
There was no fence, and there were no sidewalks, and I have pictures to show you that there were no sidewalks. So you have to walk in the street because you can't walk on anybody's property.
Where were you when the attack happened?
In the street.
Where was your dog when the attack happened?
With me on a leash. We're in the street is where the scuffle happens, and so the first bite happened on her back, and then I'm trying to pull her away, and then the second bite happens here in her left groin. At that point, by the time I finally got my dog, she came running out and was able to get her dog and brought her dog from the street into her garage. At that point,
according to you, when she comes out, she comes to the street to get her dog?
Absolutely.
Okay, go on.
Because I was in the street, my phone was in the street, my sneakers were in the street.
Your sneakers blew off your feet?
Well, everything got crazy because my dog got bit, and the sound of a dog getting bit is not a pleasant one.
Nope.
So I was a little disturbed. At that point, I just said, I'm calling the police. And she said, you should not be walking your dog down this street. We can walk our dogs wherever we want. Now, my dog has had a previous altercation.
With this same dog?
With this same dog.
How long ago?
2 years ago on the 15th, and I have the vet report from that time. I did not report it at that time because I was with my other dog walking, and it was an honest mistake. She opened up her garage, she had a dog with her, and the dog just ran. I didn't press charges because my dog got bruised, but there was no issues. At that point, I presented her with a bill at that time, and she paid it. It was like I have the
receipt. Is that accurate? Had your dog gotten out once before and attacked that dog?
Not exactly. It's first time it was happened, and she gave me bill written down by hand. I pay her money.
How much was it?
Like, I don't remember, close to $300 first time. And she knows every time that we pass by, and we pass by like every day, it's like fight between this dog. She never go away. I have to keep my big dog not to fight with her.
Right, but how did your big dog get out to bite her?
You see, me and my dog, we was behind the house on backyard, but immediately when my dog feel her dog, she feel free and run.
Wait, hold on one second. You and your dog were in the backyard.
Yeah.
Doing what?
We sit, and she was on a leash, but when she heard this one, nobody can stop. In a second, I was behind her. I thought, and she already come down, and waiting for me. My dog was...
Where was she sitting?
I show you the pictures. It's like everything here. This is like my property, my dog.
I'm going to give it to her, and then she'll ask you the question.
Yeah, come on up here.
Come on.
All right.
This is what I find her stuff on my front yard.
You found what stuff there?
Her phone, look like she talking on the phone, and this is her phone.
And where is she sitting?
My dog already sit right here.
No, not your dog, her. Where was she sit? According to your...
Actually,
if your dog is sitting, then you didn't get out there 1 second behind the dog.
No, like, it's not big house. I ran right behind my dog. It was maybe half...
Where was the plaintiff? Was the plaintiff sitting on the floor?
No.
Okay, where was the plaintiff?
She was across already.
Where? In the street?
Yes.
And the dog was in the street?
Her dog was on her hand.
And then your dog was up front here, so you missed the entire thing?
Yes,
I
did.
So you don't know where it happened?
No, but I see evidence.
But you see evidence by way of what? Her telephone?
Something, phone, brush, I don't know what. In this moment, yes, she tried to take that from ground. She take. This is like 3 minutes after this.
And?
And no leash here. Usually she walk with dog with long leash.
Now, what makes you think no leash here?
Because I didn't see this is what I make.
What's the red thing around your dog there? Is that a collar?
May I approach?
Yeah, no, I'll just, no, don't.
Thank you.
Not now.
That might get bit.
You can go ahead and go back. Okay.
A harness.
That's the harness.
Right,
and
that
then in
orange
this
thing is the
picture,
harness.
Right. In this picture, where's the retractable leash?
It might be in my hand. I
Yeah,
don't know. It's
I think
probably
it
in
is
my
actually. I
hand
think
with
I-
the doggy bag thing
Yeah.
there.
Well, I mean, nobody bothers to put a harness if they're not going to put a leash. You're not suggesting that her dog was off a leash, are you?
I think that this is what
You
happened.
think a
She
lot of things, but do you have evidence of them? Did anybody
I
else
don't
see
have-
what
I
happened?
have only evidence what I see. I wasn't this moment. I wasn't
Okay.
there.
May I see the evidence from the veterinary bill?
You want to see the bill? Would you like to see the pictures as well?
Yeah. What happened to the dog? I'm not seeing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing it. Oh, how many stitches?
She had about 20 in her hump. We didn't realize when I picked her up after this incident, I'm looking all over here thinking she's all right. I didn't realize until we got into the car after security took me back to my mom
this to them so
that
they
she
can
was
see this.
already punctured also in the left inside groin where
Okay.
she had to have surgery. The hump was more superficial in the back, which also shows that she was running away from
Do
the
you
dog.
see that? What's that look like? Stitches?
I see minutes after this happened. I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
you're in a better position to tell me what's wrong with the dog than the veterinary who did the surgery. Do you see that?
I see this one.
Okay, so
yes.
do you think the vet maybe cut the dog up just so he could sew her back up?
I'm even not sure it's same dog. So it's
Are you serious?
because I see dog after 2 minutes. What I don't know what happened, but
I do.
So, do small dogs like Yorkies typically incite bigger dogs, or are they just afraid of them?
They're not afraid of the big dogs, but they could be a little aggressive.
They can be aggressive.
Just to play and it's,
I have a little dog who incites my big dog nonstop.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think? What do you think?
I think they can, yes, absolutely.
Do smaller dogs often, are they aggressive toward bigger dogs because they've always perceived a threat and they want to protect themselves?
Yes, always. I do, in my opinion, think so.
You know what they call that in the court? Leading the witness. That's what I did. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
You don't think that's the same dog?
who knows?
Hand her all the pictures, will you? What type of dog is your dog?
Golden doodles.
Okay, so go on.
So I waited for security to come, who took a report. I was told, I can't confirm it, that she was issued a summons from our community for a dog off leash because there were rules.
Did the community issue you a summons?
Yes, I paid $25.
How much was it? $25? And did animal control come?
Yes, animal control came. Nevertheless, my dog was in surgery. She was in the hospital for 4 days. I had to take 2 weeks off to take care of her. She's still traumatized, and that's all okay. I had to take time off from work. All I wanted was my vet bill to be
Not
paid.
even that. All you wanted was the part of your vet bill that insurance didn't pay.
Thank you.
That's all you wanted.
So what she
And that's
had
all they're
done-
suing you for.
And that's what
is
she did, was
the-
send me checks for
And-
$25.
oh, wait. The whole thing happened on her property, and it was self-defense, defense of property, and her dog's not responsible, and you're making the whole thing up because your dog was fine, but she sent you payment.
Right. $25, which I didn't cash because I thought maybe the first check she forgot a few zeros. Okay? And then when I got the second check, I was like, oh my God. So, you know, I wrote her a letter. I left her a voicemail on her phone. And at that which point I decided that I was filing a small
Why
claims
did you
force.
pay $25 and then another $25 if, according to you, it's not your fault?
Because it's not my fault, but I know a dog was bite on my property, but dog was bite.
No, if it happens on your property, if her dog goes onto your property and gets bit by your dog when your dog's defending her own property, I don't know why this should be this way, because I am relatively sure that no dog has reviewed a survey of land and doesn't understand where the property ends.
They
but
don't.
the theory is that, no, that's your property. Hey, don't let your dog go on her property. The problem that I'm having is that you don't know where it happened because you didn't see it. So where do you come off after your dog gets loose, and it's not the first time, it's the second time?
No, it's
saying,
third time.
no,
It's third time.
that dog, your dog bit her dog, and you admitted to paying the bill one time before. And then you're looking me right in the eye and saying, no, it happened on my property. How do you know? Oh, I was 1 second behind and my dog was already seated. So how do you know?
No.
Oh, her phone was on my driveway. No, she's on the phone because she's freaking out. Okay, well, something else. A brush was on my driveway. Do you have a picture of it? No, I have a picture of my driveway. And then I have you paying two payments.
I actually.
You know what? No, stop
Yes.
talking.
Okay.
Stop talking. Pay the lady. It is your fault for your dog perennially getting out. Let me, however, make a suggestion to you. She doesn't have a right to say, don't walk in the street in front of my house.
I
You should
didn't tell
stop
like
talking.
this.
Nobody's asking you anything. She doesn't have a right to say that.
No.
But at some point, if there is another route, all right. Verdict for the plaintiff, $2,394.20. Pay the lady.
So the plaintiff prevails, a little over $2,300. Ms. Blatcher, you have to pay. You finally have to pay. You're going to listen to what, if you'll step back just a little bit.
I'm gonna pay.
You okay with it now? You going to do it?
Judge didn't hear all story. But
Yes, the judge heard. The judge heard. And you didn't see the whole thing anyway. So you kept saying it didn't happen that way, but it did.
No,
according to
but
the
this
judge.
lady also harassed me. She really, and I have evidence, and nobody listened.
It doesn't matter what she did.
Yeah, I know.
You owe the money.
Yeah,
You're going to
know,
pay.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. Keep the
Thank-
peace in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Pay the bill. Watch out for your dog.
This is why I have my dog to keep it.
Well, this must have been a very traumatic experience for you. You know,
Beyond.
being a dog lover, I can certainly appreciate.
Yes, it's horrible.
Horrible is right. How is she now?
Thank
Bella now?
God, that is the bottom line. Bella's great. She's
Bella's great?
healed, she's,
She's adorable?
wonderful, and she's terrific.
That's
yes.
good.
And justice has been served.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
You're
much.
very, very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, if a dog has a history of biting, it is highly relevant in the present case. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Kayla Ziegler. She says she bought a car from the unscrupulous defendant who knowingly unloaded a lemon on her, and she's mad as can be at him. The guy totally took advantage of her. She's out $4,000, and because the defendant hid defects in the car he sold her, she's owed this money and is suing him. This is the defendant, Jose Medina. He says the plaintiff test drove the car with her father, loved it, and bought it from him. 2 days later, the girl calls him, harassing him, saying he took advantage of her. Hogwash. He's not a bad guy, and thinks her mechanic is the one ripping her off, claiming the car needs work. He's accused of unloading a lemon.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought a car from the defendant and claims he knew it was a lemon. But the defendant says the plaintiff checked the car out, so tough. It's the case of ain't no lemonade here.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
You are suing Jose Medina for $4,000 that you say he owes you for knowingly selling you a lemon. Tell me what happened.
So this all happened within a 5-day span. I'm a college student. I withdrew from my savings to buy a car. I was looking on Craigslist where I came across his ad, which I have a picture of. In his ad, it says it runs and drives great, which I came to find out that it doesn't. When I met up with him, it was on a Monday, the check engine light was on. So he's like, let's bring it to AutoZone down the street.
When you're test driving the car, the check engine light goes on?
Yes.
Why didn't you just look for another car?
Well, because I was told that the check engine light can go on for
It could,
minor
but why
things.
would you take the risk? Is this your first car that you're buying?
Yes,
Who's the gentleman with you?
my boyfriend.
Okay. Was he with you?
No.
All right. I mean, there's lots of cars for sale. Like the one with the
understand
check
that.
engine light on may not be my first choice.
This
but-
isn't the first car I looked at. It was what I was looking for. I knew what I was looking for.
So you go with him to AutoZone?
Yeah, he suggests, let's go to this AutoZone. And the guy there took the cord, whatever they use, and hook it up to your car. And he goes inside, he looks up the computer and says, it only needs a $45 part. At this point, I don't know if he knew that guy or what, because I didn't know that that hookup does not check the engine. That is what I was told when I brought it to the dealership.
How does the dealership know what hookup AutoZone had?
I think it's standard.
Yeah.
What hookup that they use.
I don't know.
So They said that was all it needed. Okay, I said that was fine. So I hand him $7,400 cash. He puts it in his pockets, carries on. I drive the car home.
And okay, and then you take it to the Nissan dealer the next day.
Nope. So I insure it that night, and I wake up the next morning, and I, all excited to go register it. I go to start the car, and then I hear things going on underneath, and I go, great.
Like what?
Like, sounds.
Sounds that you weren't hearing when you test drove.
Yes.
Did you test drive it?
Yes, because when I went there, the car was already on.
Why would the car be on when you get there?
Because he was sitting in the car with it on, waiting for me. But now.
And you didn't turn it off and turn it on?
Nope, and now I know why it was on, because that's when you hear the initial sounds of when everything happens.
Well, why didn't you just turn it off and turn it on when you were test driving it?
I wish I did.
Do you also wish that you'd had a mechanic take a look at it beforehand? You bought it?
I thought that AutoZone was sufficient because they said, oh yeah, that's what it needs.
So in your mind, you did have a mechanic look at it. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
In a sense. So, well, also I took his word saying it runs and drives great. I have no problems. However,
when you test drove it, did it run and drive great?
Yeah, to the point where I bought it, but little did I know it really internally didn't. Which he ended up
What
telling
did you end
me.
up doing? The next day, you register the car. What day do you bring it to the dealer?
So I registered the car the next day for $600. That's when I heard the noise. The next day.
Did you register it after hearing the noise?
I had to bring it to Nissan.
Okay.
I couldn't drive it without registering
How'd you get it to your house?
I drove it.
Oh, so I guess you could, right?
I didn't want to do that again.
I'm not a fool. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to do that again.
Well, okay.
So the next day is when I brought it to Nissan.
Okay, and do you have something from Nissan?
Yes, I
May
have.
I see it?
So the car needed $5,865.75 worth of work, and this is everything, a breakdown of what and why and how you get to why it needs that.
And does it occur to you to take it to a mechanic that wasn't a dealer?
I did not.
Not even since
That
then
was
in
the
preparation
auto
for the
part.
case? Like not even since then to figure
Well,
out,
I didn't-
maybe let me get a couple of estimates and see that I'm not getting
I
a
didn't
little
finish
bloated.
the story, so.
No, I don't care if you finish the story. I'm running the train, not you. So I just asked a question, so I need you to listen. Did you take it to any other mechanics besides the Nissan dealer in order to get a real handle on what it should cost and what's wrong and to fix the noise and all that?
No, because I no longer have the car.
Okay, and where's the car?
I had to trade it in.
You
because
had to?
I
What do
could
you
not
mean?
get in touch with him, and I was not willing to pay almost $6,000 worth of damage on a car that I already invested
Who'd you
$8,000
you didn't
in.
trade it in with the same dealership, did you?
I did.
That same day?
I was on the phone with them that Thursday, and then that Friday, I traded in with them. And I've never heard from him since. I've tried to get in contact with him.
You traded it in, and what did you do? You put the car as a down payment, I guess, and they gave you.
So they traded it in for me. Luckily, they gave me $4,000 for it. So I'm really only out $4,000. But now I have a $310 car payment, which the only reason I bought it in cash originally is because I didn't want a car payment.
Wow, you're kind of full of bad decisions, though. You know, you should have, when you buy a used car, it's as is, and you should have somebody look at it before you take it. And before you trust one person you've never met before who tells you, I'm gonna give you $4,000 for this, because maybe take it to somebody else to make sure that it's legitimate. When do you find? She says that you ignored her completely. That she can't get in touch with you, and she's calling you to tell you about the problems. Did you just blow off her calls?
It's not that. It's just the line of work that I do. I'm a truck driver. So as I'm working, when she be calling, I can't pick up the phone. Now, when I do pick up the phone, it's like she was just bad-mouthing, just real rude. And then her boyfriend also just sending text messages and stuff like that.
Sending text messages saying what?
Well, just like to handle this like a man and stuff like that.
To what? Because she wanted her money back?
Yeah, she's saying.
What did you
for me
tell
to
her
give
when she
back
said, I want my money
$4,000.
back?
Well, I told her that the car was sold, first of all, as is, and the car did not need all that was needed. This is the only thing that, I don't know if you got it up there, but what they said that the car needed, that her dad also has proof of it.
What do you mean her dad has proof of it?
Well, because her dad was the one that was with her when we test drove the car.
Oh, she went with her dad, and then
Yeah.
the dad went with her and you and the car to AutoZone.
Right. Well, first of all, we was at Dairy Queen. That's where we had met up. She had test drove
It's a
the car.
very fine place to meet up.
Yeah, it was hot. So, She had the opportunity to test drive the car there.
Was the car on when she got there?
It was on. The AC was on.
Oh, okay.
But just hot, you know.
So she's right about that.
Right.
But the had you ever heard a noise when you turn on the car?
No.
Never, not any noise? Okay, how is it that she coincidentally the very next day after buying it hears a noise?
There was no noise, Your Honor.
You think she's lying about that?
Yeah.
But Nissan, according to Nissan, let's see what Nissan says. Nissan doesn't talk about a noise. They say you brought it in because you said the check engine light was on.
Yeah.
That's something you knew about when you bought the car. Nissan doesn't say there's some loud noise.
Well, all those problems make a noise.
Not according to you when you bring it into Nissan. The complaint, customer states check engine light on. There's not a word about a noise. Were you embellishing your case to try to win and bringing up some noise that didn't happen? You take it to Nissan. Nissan tells you, oh, no, you need all this stuff. And AutoZone doesn't know what they're talking about, and you don't take it to a mechanic that's not Nissan and not AutoZone. Do you have some friend at AutoZone?
No.
So if the check engine light goes on when she's test driving the car, do you run for the hills?
Of course it is. That's just a sign that it's a lemon.
What do you say?
It's a lemon. You got to leave.
What if they say, who hasn't talked yet? Who hasn't talked yet? Okay, so what if they say, okay, the check engine light is on, I'll give you a $500 discount.
No.
I'll give you a $750 discount.
I would make them find out what's wrong with it first.
Fair enough. That's a smart woman going inside the courtroom.
He told me he had just bought the car 3 months prior, too, so I'm assuming that's why he wanted to sell it.
No, had you bought the
It's
car?
not what I said. I wanted to sell it because I wanted to buy me a motorcycle. I told you that.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't talk to each other. Don't talk to each other. Had you had bought the car from where?
I had bought it in New York from another dealer from
Okay.
over there.
A Nissan dealer?
Not a Nissan dealer.
Okay.
Private.
And you and did you buy it for yourself for personal use?
Yeah, for myself.
So why were you selling it 3 months later?
I wanted a motorcycle. My brother-in-laws and all had motorcycles.
Well, why
so-
don't you think that through before you buy a car?
Well, I just wanted to downgrade, get a motorcycle.
Because it had problems.
Did you take the car in to any mechanic in that 3 months in order to have it looked at?
No. It didn't need anything when I had
I
it.
have his Craigslist ad saying it runs and drives great.
Oh, let me see that. Let me see the advertisement.
I
Because
have
if he
the-
lies in an advertisement, driving great is not a lie. That's an opinion, you know? So you have to test and make sure that opinion is your opinion. Runs and drives good.
And now I'm paying.
Serious
$200.
inquiries, 8,500. Serious inquiries only, no low ball. Please don't waste my time or yours. Clean title. No liens. All right. Kyla,
Yes.
I feel bad for you because you remind me of my daughters. I can't help you here. This is an as-is sale and my hands are tied by the law. I also would like to give you and your boyfriend some advice. It's not that dealers have a bad reputation or that I assume that dealers are bloating things. I don't assume anything. I just know that I would never trust one opinion on what was wrong with a car, especially when that opinion sells me another car, hooks me up with the salesman and sells me another car. I just wouldn't. I would always want to have a second opinion on it. That's my advice to you. And my first advice to you, that's my second advice to you. My first advice to you is never again to buy a used car without having somebody take a look at it to make sure that it's look all you want, and then once you've decided on it, spend the $150 before you buy the car, not after. Because after, no judge is going to be able to help you unless you can prove that he made a specific representation, like I just put new tires on it, or it's a brand new engine. Specific representation that was false. Or that he specifically knew $5,000 was needed and didn't tell you, none of which you've been able to prove here. Far from it. So my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Well, it didn't work out for the plaintiff in this case, unfortunately. As the judge just said, her hands are tied. She couldn't do anything for you.
Yes, I wish you could.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You think you learned anything from all this? Oh, she gave you some very good advice.
Get a
It'd been
second
better if you'd
opinion.
had this advice a month ago.
Yeah, I would.
You know?
I would. It'd be better to get a second opinion next
Yeah,
time. We'll
well,
do that.
you have learned a valuable
Yeah.
life lesson. All right. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, though. That's the way it works out. All right, here comes Mr. Medina. Obviously, you didn't call her back. I mean, the judge couldn't find any evidence of it. Do you feel at all sorry for her? You think?
Yeah, I mean, no hard
you will?
feelings. I mean, I feel like I sold her a reasonable car.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
So you didn't think it had $5,000 worth of problems with it when you
to
let
be
it go?
honest, no, I didn't.
All right. Well,
it's a dealer. You know, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg.
well,
for
I
it,
know they're going to charge more, but I mean, they do the analysis there sometimes. Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Harvey, interesting case. A lot of good advice, though, for people buying used cars.
So, you look, you know, you buy a car and they say it's as is, take it or leave it. Fine. You can still try and negotiate a warranty. People think, okay, well, I just have to accept what they say. It's all negotiation. So you can negotiate, say, a 30-day warranty from the person, get it in writing, but there's no law saying that you can't try to get what you want.
Don't text and drive. The People's Court is a Ralph Edwards, Stu Willett production.